Hi there, my name is Megan Spencer. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about my internship this summer, serving as a global strategic sales intern here at NetApp. We're going to dive into deeper detail about what everything has looked like. So without further ado, let's get started. So what you're looking at here is a Prezi visual that I have curated. And we're going to start here by looking at the title. We see strategic and you see sales. So how does that go hand in hand here at NetApp? Well, we are a pretty big team here, and we are divided into verticals, which I'll get into a little bit more detail later. But this summer I was focused on the telecommunication service provider and hyperscaler region, and I was supporting Jamie Kerrigan. So in this internship, I don't think it was the typical experience, right? I wasn't focused on curating or producing a quantitative project by the end of the summer. It was very customary. So Jamie's goal was really for me to soak in as much as I could and learn as much as I could. And so he presented me the opportunity to sort of shadow these strategic accounts and all of their planning sessions. So there's some accounts listed here, and we'll go into more detail about what accounts I looked at and what I was able to do with them. But this learning experience throughout the summer included a trip to Texas and to California for team meetings, where I focused on learning from the client executives to oversee all of their account sales motions, which includes selling through, sell with, and sell to. And then for my final intern project, we did go ahead and arrange for me to apply my new experience by, at first it was to curate a dashboard within the Spark CRM, or called Salesforce. But since that was moved out, the release for that, we went ahead and were resourceful, and I did a SharePoint webpage instead, which illustrated a complete account install base for Warner Brothers Discovery. So that was the overview of this summer in a nutshell. And I'm proud to say that next semester I will be working on Jamie's team part-time to continue my efforts in learning about these accounts, in which I will do so by prospecting leads for Warner Brothers Discovery and IBM Cloud. So let's look more at the strategic organization, right? What are our goals? Why do we do what we do? So sales here at NetApp are really broken up into, we've got commercial, enterprise, and then strategics. So these sales accounts are classified by how large they are, how much revenue they bring in, and just the type of business, right? How close you are to the customer. So in strategics, we are the largest accounts at NetApp, and we try to close bookings within these accounts. But because they're so large, they're very complex. The bookings or the actual closing of deals definitely take longer than, say, commercial, for example. And there are 44 accounts that we cover. 40 are global, 4 are strategic non-global accounts. And you'll see all 44 of these illustrated here in the strategic area leadership. So strategics is comprised of the auto and energy region, EDA and media, finance, life sciences and healthcare providers, and then here is Jamie's region, telecom, service provider, and hyperscaler. So there's his list of 11 accounts. And if we look a little bit closer here at his region, we've got district managers under him, 3 of which are in charge of their respective accounts. And then you've got Kathy, who's our sales experience. She does a lot of operations stuff as well, and I worked closely with her this summer too. So as you can see on the left-hand side, the accounts that are bolded are the ones I felt like I spent majority of my time with learning about. So that's including Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, Amazon, AT&T, IBM Cloud, Microsoft, Verizon, and Warner Brothers Discovery. And then I'd like to highlight as well some of my travel experiences this summer within these accounts. So I am located out of RTP. So I did go into the office for 3 days to focus on the Verizon account planning meetings. And so that was probably my first kind of dip my toe in the water into strategics. And then I spent 4 days in Dallas focusing on the IBM Cloud account planning. So that was very interesting as well to see kind of the differences between the business units and the subsidiaries and that type of thing. And then finally, after going through all the strategic account plannings individually, I was able to get out to the NetApp headquarters in San Jose, California, and I spent 4 days there in the full potential account management readout meetings. So that was basically all of the sales leaders, the global enterprise managers for those large accounts, going over with the Vice President of Strategic Sales all of their account strategy for fiscal year 24. And I was very fortunate to be able to actually present a slide from IBM Cloud's presentation to Tony Fry, who's our Vice President. And I was able to do that in person in California in the office, as well as, again, actively listening and observing those meetings. So incredible experience. And I actually spent 6 days in California in total, doing a little bit of fun stuff on the side. So that was awesome. So now we're going to look a little bit at my intern project. I mentioned earlier, this was originally supposed to be a dashboard built out in Salesforce, but we could be resourceful and build something similar out in SharePoint, which is an interactive website that we use internally. And I wanted to create a one-stop shop for everybody in strategics to understand the entire account install base and information for one account. And I chose that to be Warner Brothers. So if we look at this dashboard like metric, there's actually buttons here. So you could click on each one of these things. And I opened up the sales metrics tab here in this this tab. So you can take a look at the sales metrics that I was able to curate and put onto the website. Here I made a little chart on the side. It shows the year-to-date bookings to their goal. So this is the progress of bookings to the quota that is year-to-date. I've updated it weekly since that information does not auto-populate yet. So hopefully once we get it in Salesforce, it will. And then you also have the quarterly pipeline and forecast, right? So we want to definitely keep up with that pipeline hygiene. It's going to help the team to kind of know what's going on, what we've got in all the forecast categories, and where she is planning on end date for the quarter. And that'll all ultimately, hopefully, get into this year-to-date booking number. So that's really interesting. And then I plan on adding some historical data as well. And then I've also got some of her top contacts and prospects that on this spreadsheet that I also created for her. So that is a little bit about the SharePoint. Throughout the summer, I also got a little mini project, and that was to curate a sales portfolio video. So, you know, part of being a salesperson is familiarizing with the technology portfolio, and NetApp has a very vast portfolio. So I had to simplify it, right, into something shorter, something higher level for people outside of the company to understand externally. So this is just the thumbnail of the video, and that's just posted internally. I asked for feedback from the sales team, and that was really great to kind of be able to demonstrate that and challenge myself to see what type of salesman I really am. And then for the fiscal year 24 plans, you always want to be forward thinking, looking ahead. So for me, that meant strategizing my long-term value through a 30, 60, 90-day plan. So I did go ahead and put that together, presented it to Jamie, and we came up with the idea of me wanting to increase my understanding of the accounts I've been shipping. So I'm going to focus on 1 to 2 accounts out of his 11 as I continue on part-time, learn more about what products are in this account technology-wise, how about the ecosystem, more about the business units, the subsidiaries. And I just recently gained access to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, so I will be using that to prospect and help generate leads for these client executives and eventually farm strategic relationships within these accounts. So I'm very, very excited to get started with that. And hopefully you're watching this on LinkedIn, so connect with me if you haven't already. And then to sort of conclude everything, these are just some takeaways from the summer, although there are many. I did want to comprise a little list. So first thing here, sales, I think is very individualistic, right? So for some people, you know, they don't really like that because it's almost like you're running your own little business within the accounts. All of them look so different. Every manager has a different leadership style, how they manage relationships within that account. And because of that, you start to see something like number 2, like a totem pole. It becomes pretty clear, I think, who's very experienced, who's at the top, who has a lot of wisdom to share, and then somebody who's maybe more early in career, like myself. And, you know, again, I think that can definitely turn off some people, but I think for me, it's very motivating because although I am more in the beginning part of my career, it's promising to be able to look up at the top and say, hey, there are people that can get here, it's achievable, and I can get here and I'm capable if that's what you believe. And then number 3, the importance of leadership. So I think, you know, going back to that idea of having seniority and people that are above you, it's super, super important, I think, to have leadership that's encouraging of whatever mindset you have. They're willing to share, and that also goes into company culture as well. And I think NetApp has an amazing culture. I've been supported by an amazing team here, and it's under great leadership. So huge, huge thank you to them. Number 4, being proactive. I wanted to put this in because last year I touched a lot on proactivity in my marketing internship, and I definitely think it is a skill that I have taken with me this summer. So on the more relaxed weeks, you definitely want to take things into your hands and get some meetings on the books, right? And then number 5, intern culture. I've had a lot more chances to go into the RTP office, and that really allowed me to form more relationships with the fellow interns. And again, company culture, it's good to have that conversational piece when you're in the office. But I really like knowing the other interns because we can watch each other flourish and grow in our careers. So that is important as well to me. Number 6 is definitely speak up. I need to take my own advice here by, learning to be more comfortable in your own voice. And sometimes you're the youngest in the room, or maybe you are an outlier for whatever reason it is. And I think either way, it's still important to speak up and, ask questions and offer an opinion if you feel that's necessary. And then number 7, key skills that I've taken away, while there are many, the most important 3 that I picked out were active listening. I think I mentioned that before. Sitting in meetings, traveling, even observing other relationships have been very critical for me. So that's been important. And then critical thinking. An amazing mentor of mine, Keith Hansen, this summer, really challenged me to think outside the box, learn how to ask the right questions at the right time. I'm getting ready to start one of his reads that he recommended me called The Art of Asking Good Questions. So I think that goes in with critical thinking as well. Redefining your pathways on how you think about things. And then relationship building, right? Sales is so focused on relationships and interpersonal bonding. So that's been huge internally within NetApp, and even externally. I've seen the voice of the customer come into meetings and how we interact with the customer and with partners and that type of thing. So people want to do business with people that they like, people that they have good relationships with. So that's definitely something I've taken away as well. So that is it for the deeper dive. I wish I could have added a few more visuals or anything like that, but I'll definitely be sharing some pictures on my LinkedIn page and posting this there as well. So if you've tuned in this long, thank you so much for staying tuned, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.